Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nation's organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream around the divination card, the oracle card that I draw in the morning. And it's about the most important energy that's flowing for us to know about today for our highest good, right? And it also sparks a spiritual conversation. And today is no different at all. So, but today is Thursday, March 7th, I believe. Yep, March 7th. I have to tell you that for a couple hours this morning, I thought it was Friday. It's like, I laugh about it now, but geez, when you're a day ahead and you're thinking, why is this going on when it's Friday? And yeah, it's not, it's Thursday. I don't know if you guys have ever done that, but yeah, I have, I will, I'll continue, I'm sure. So Rochelle just popped in. Hello, Rochelle. Good afternoon to you, lady. Good to have you here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to like and share the live stream. And I would invite you to do the same. It helps us to be in the newsfeed a little bit more often. And that means that those souls who are looking for this kind of information or conversation, it's easy to find us, or easier, I should say, to find us. I just have to, here we are. Main fan page. You're going to like it. I'm going to share it. And I'm sharing to my news feed, and so I'm just going to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And asking them to please join me. There we go, and we'll post that. I think I sent it over to my personal feed. Well, we'll find out where I sent it. Okay, and then we're going to send it over to the groups too. So letting the peeps know. And to please join us. There we go. And making sure I get to the right groups there. There, that's done. No, I really am wondering now, where did I send it? Who did I share it to? Because it didn't look the same. You know how that goes? Well, I'll find that out after the show is done. So let's see who's all here. Oh, Julie's here too. Julie Shumway Hill's here. Good to have you here. And Rochelle says, it's sunny here. Took a pic of 4 deer eating the bird seed. Oh, it was taken while I was in the kitchen. Oh, I see. Yeah, it's we started out sunny, and -4 this morning. -4, but we're supposed to have a high of like 23, and yeah, it's winter. It's winter. And Rochelle said she shared. Thank you so much, Rochelle. I do appreciate that. Just like somebody who is looking for the information ran across your share and in the news feed, right? And they're going to say, hey, what's that? Right? And they're going to be able to find the information, find us a little bit easier. I got to move my camera. Sorry, guys. There we go. There we go. Yeah, today is actually, after I realized it was Thursday, then I was all kind of happy because, I was thinking, oh God, today's Friday and I didn't get X, Y, and Z done yet. And then when I realized it's Thursday, it's like, hey, I've got a whole day to get that stuff done. It was a relief. It was a relief. All right. So today's card, I have to tell you, I was in the living room. I had my morning smoothie with me, and George was sitting in his kennel having a treat, and it was a quiet morning. I'm shuffling, and I stated the intention about to please show me the most important information or energy that's flowing today for our highest good and the highest good of all, and that we can share, right? So I'm shuffling, and I had to shuffle quite a bit, shuffled and shuffled and shuffled, and finally a card popped out. And it was the fire dragon. Now I have to tell you, I shuffled that deck really, really well. And the fire dragon pops out again, right? And so whenever we get a card multiple times, Spirit is really, really wanting to make sure that we get a certain message, and that we cover it in depth, right? Because that's what I asked. It was in depth. And so I was talking to my team. I said, okay, so what is it that we haven't shared the last 3 times, right? The last 3 times. And so I asked for a second card to help us to understand, what is it we're supposed to really be talking about this time? What is it? What is the essence and the spirit of Fire Dragon wanting us to really understand and to really get at a deep level? Okay. Yeah. So here's the first question. How many people in the live chat, how many people have grounded today? Okay. And if you haven't grounded, please take a moment to do that now. All right. Because we're kind of anchoring some information today. And they said, don't say kinda, you are. We're anchoring certain information today. And so we're grounding it to the earth plane. All right. And to the vibration that we individually hold. That makes sense? I hope it did. So I'm going to give you a little time, just, like a minute or so, to go ahead and do your grounding, if you haven't done so. All right. Because we're working as a team this afternoon. We're working as a team. Yeah. And it's kind of nice that we can do it this way, I think. That we don't have to necessarily be in the same room to do this kind of work, because as much as we're connected to the earth plane, because we're two-leggeds, right? We're here. As a spirit, we're not bound by time and space. And so we can be everywhere at once, so to speak. All right. I'm just double checking here. All right. So please let me know. Rochelle just said that she's grounded. And if you are in the live chat, if you could just let me know that you're finished with your grounding, and that way we can move forward. Okay. Tea. I'm having tea this afternoon. So while we're waiting here, thank you, Marie. I just thank you so much for doing that, sharing and grounding. I appreciate it. Thank you. And Anya said, hi, Neshi, practicing my grounding skills. Okay, good. Your intention is probably the most important today, okay? Rather than technique, rather than method, is to intend that you be grounded. And even if you can just imagine having that creator energy, God energy, flowing down through you, down through your crown chakra, down through each one of your chakras, down into the earth, down both legs, and down into the earth, and imagining be like a tree, right? That will carry you a great deal further than trying to mentally do the gyrations for a certain technique. So appreciate that, Tanya. And Rob is saying grounded this morning. Good. Thank you, Rob. And Julie says she's grounded. Thank you. And he says, I'm also trying to fix network printer issues. Well, maybe our grounding will help you. Okay. Because, it is also Mercury retrograde. So, we'll try to help you a little bit along the way too, Rob. Hello, Valerie. Good to have you here. Valerie, you just arrived, and this is the card that came today. This is the 3rd time or 4th time we've had Fire Dragon. So I'm asking everyone who's in the live chat to please, if you haven't grounded today, to please take a moment to do that, because we're going to be working as a team today. Okay. And so that we can ground the information, the energy that the fire dragon is really wants us to understand and to take into our being, to the earth. We're wanting to ground it to the earth plane. So we're going to be working together today on that. And Valerie, if you could let me know that if you have grounded or are grounding, just to let me know, so that way we can move forward. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that everybody who's going to be helping with this is set and ready to go. All right. Rob's saying maybe, but stopping the printer spooler helped more. Okay. All right then. Thank you, Valerie. Thank you so much for letting me know and for grounding. Yay. All right. So here, just as a refresher, okay, as a refresher, the energy that the fire dragon brings to us is transmutation, mastery, and energy. Transmutation, mastery, and energy. Right? The Gaelic word for fire dragon is Draig-teine, and he brings vitality, enthusiasm, courage, and an increased ability to overcome obstacles. Okay? To overcome obstacles. And to find the energy needed to cope with life's problems. He will help you align with the qualities of leadership and mastery. And with care, he'll fuel your inner fire, which can be directed and channeled with laser-like precision to help you accomplish tasks and achieve objectives. And I think that's the piece that we're going to kind of zero in on today, okay? And remember, with the fire dragon, he can help us balance out our energy, our inner fire. That if we're feeling run down or fatigued, right, that we're running on empty, that we can call on him and ask him to please send us some reserve energy. If we're feeling over energized, right, we have that nervous energy, that antsy feeling that you just don't know what to do with it, right? Is that you can call on him again and ask to take some of that excess energy and to keep it for you, to guard it for you, so that when you need it in the future, when you need it, that it's available to you, right? It's kind of a nice thing, I think. All right, so with the information coming from the dragon, when I was rereading the information this morning and I was talking to my team, I said, so what part of this do we need to go deeper with? What is Dragon really trying to tell us with his energy, right? And it really is about how he can help us fuel our inner fire, which can be directed and channeled with laser-like precision to help us accomplish tasks and achieve objectives. And so that he's also helping us to overcome obstacles. All right. Now, we've talked a lot about our individual healing work and why that's important. And it's still important, but today it's really more about us working together to ground certain energy to the earth plane. And we each individually do that through our physical bodies, right? And so that we're grounding it to the place that we're at in the vibration that we individually hold. Now, as a community, because we're all here together as Star Nations, is that yes, we do have a collective energy as well, right? But this particular, I had the feeling that wherever we reside, in all its meanings, whether it's here in Toma or in Grand Rapids or in Madison or wherever you're living physically, is to ground a certain energy field there that you can bring through you. Okay. And it's for our highest good and the highest good of all. And so that we have Dragon helping us to be able to do that. Okay. So even if we don't know if you have Dragon as part of your spiritual team, we do today. All of us do, because he keeps coming back, right? He keeps coming back. And so to be able to sense his energy field, his vibration, his frequency. At one time they lived in the same world as us two-leggeds. Some might call it Middle Earth. And the dragon in general then passed into another dimension where now they're only talked about through fairy tale, through fantasy. But there was a time when they were here with us in the physical world. I don't. How many people were with watching Polly Joe's show last night? I don't remember who it was, but somebody got a card that had one eye, right? And Polly Joe's had mentioned something about that single eye. That single eye holding so much energy, concentrated energy. Yeah. And it reminded me of all the cards that we've gotten in quite a few weeks about the single eye. Hey, Christine, one of my sisters is in the house. Now, Christine, I've been asking everybody to make sure they're grounded today because we're going to be doing some teamwork today with the energy of Fire Dragon. So I'm pretty sure you have grounded today. But if you haven't, if you could just take a moment to do that and let me know, okay, before we start moving forward with it. And so with Dragon's energy, with his medicine, he's giving us the ability to overcome obstacles and to find energy needed to cope with life's problems, okay? And helping us to be able to channel. They said channel or direct that energy with laser-like precision to accomplish the tasks and achieve our outcomes. So today, with the second card that was drawn, because I wanted to know, what is it about Dragon that we need to know more about? What is it that he's here to help us with, right? What's the message he's really trying to bring home? Okay. This is the second card that came. Dog. In Gaelic, it's coo. And we've had Dog before. He's all about guidance, protection, and loyalty. Guidance, protection, and loyalty. And note that where he's standing by a pool of water, and behind him is a cave. Right? He's a guardian of sorts, right? They call him the guardian of the mysteries. Guardian of the mysteries. And dogs are linked to water because it's all about healing. Okay. Now, here's the piece that kind of jumped out at me when I asked, okay, so what does dog have to do with all of this? And the author writes that Ku brings guidance and protection, acting as a loyal companion and friend on your journey in this life and in the next. In this life and in the next. And in the Druid tradition, the dog is seen as the guardian of the mysteries. It goes on to say that there comes a time when we may have to defend our values or protect that which we hold sacred. There's faithfulness, trust, loyalty are vital ingredients of close relationships. And the time may have come for you to focus on these qualities. Okay. Now, there's something that the dog does that we touched on, but we really didn't go very deep into it. And Philip talks about that the dog is a guardian animal of roads and trackways, of crossroads and gateways. Here we begin to glimpse the role of the dog as a guardian of the mysteries of the underworld. Yeah. And I would also say the other world, meaning other dimensions. He says that death represents a moment of transit from one place to another, and the dog stands at these thresholds, places as guardian and protector. Just as the dog would guard its master from harm in the physical world, so in the other world would the dog protect and guide the soul of the dead. Just as a faithful and loyal dog can guide a blind man through obstacles and dangers of the physical world, so can the dog, as a spirit ally, guide us safely through the other world. And I have to say that when I read that piece, that one really, really stood out prominent for me. Is that guide. That guide. The last time we talked about dog, we were talking about our personal healing of our traumas and our emotional and mental traumas, right? Okay. So I know that those that are in the chat, just seeing the names, I know that almost all of you, 100%, have done some sort of work on your own personal traumas, right? And so you're healing them and releasing what needs to be released and gaining the wisdom that needed to be gained, right? Okay. So this is the feeling I had about these two cards, is that the dragon is helping us, or has the ability to help us, I should say, to be able to help us move from one dimension to another. In our soul's growth, we're evolving, right? Many of us have evolved past the third dimension. In other words, we find life in that third dimension. We don't do well there. We don't do well. We find it very uncomfortable. When we have to spend any amount of time in certain places out there in the world, when we can't get done with our stuff fast enough to be able to come home, right? And we're constantly seeking for our other people, our other peeps, right? People that we feel comfortable with, places that we feel comfortable being at. For a lot of decades, I know a lot of empaths that basically removed themselves from the third dimension. In other words, they became pretty much reclusive, right? They desire just to be in their own home or in places that they're comfortable, and they remove themselves from going to those places as much as they possibly can. But what I think is that these two, I'll hold them up together so you can see their energy together, is that dragon is helping us to overcome the obstacles and helping us to regulate our internal energy, our internal flame, so that we can make that transition from one vibrational energy field to another. From the third dimension to the fourth dimension, from the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. And that dog, Ku, is our guide through it, can guide us through those obstacles safely. It doesn't mean that we're going to die in the more earthly sense, right? It does mean that we're changing. It does mean that we're going through some experiences, places that we may have never been before. And so Ku is able to help us as if he's guiding the blind through those obstacles. He's guiding us through another dimension. And that's why I pointed out the cave behind him. He's the protector, the guardian of the mysteries. He's also there for protection. There's a deep sense of loyalty. So much so that he'll do anything and everything to help us through that maze of energies. Yeah. So when you look at these two together, sensing, feeling, seeing, drawing in the information that they're sending us, and just speaking, even if you just the one writing it in the comment section, your impressions of this. And if you're feeling, if there's some anxiety to it, that's okay. That's all right. If you're feeling that nervous energy, asking the dragon, the fire dragon, to come in to help you balance that out, so that you can take in the vibration, the frequency of these cards, right? Yeah, Rob is saying of the empaths that he doesn't blame them a bit. Rochelle, I'm like that, staying home, isolating myself, and not doing anything. It takes a lot of energy to be around others. Yes, it does. But we're taking the meaning of the cards that were written back in 1996 is when the deck was published. And we're bringing that information into the present. and into the energy field, the vibrational field that we're in right now. And we know that Grandmother Earth, she moved out of the third dimension a long time ago. And she's been in the fourth dimension for a long time and moving into the fifth dimension. We know that. And that's why so many of us are been seekers, trying to find where the information is at that we need so that we can grow, so that we can feel comfortable. We're searching for something that we feel that is missing. And many, many of you have done so much work already. And today with these two helpers, we can actually now start talking about how do we comfortably move? How do we navigate through these dimensions? I know that the card talks about the physical death and the underworld. But I believe that what the message is here is that we're actually talking about how we move through one dimension to another in our physical body. Because we can already do that. We can already do that as spirit beings. We can already go from one dimension to another, even though you might not think that you do, or recognize that you do. Chances are in dream time or when you're in meditation, you're already doing that. I think the message here is talking about how we can consciously do this. While we're in our physical body. So the dragon is helping us modulate our inner fire. So that we're able to go and have the energy to do that, right? to be able to transmute maybe some of the energies that we need to release to be able to do that. He's also about mastery. And it's taking our gifts that we already have and we already have access to and actually move into the mastery of those. Or maybe it's the acknowledgement of the mastery. And Ku, dog, is right beside us, leading us. So that we can safely go from the third dimension to the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension. Okay. And Rochelle is saying, dragon is a lot of energy as the dog looks more mellow, balances each other out. Yeah. One seems fiercer, right? And Marie is saying, the feeling from the cards to me is fierce but gentle with our obstacles. Okay. Good one. Tanya, it can be uncomfortable feeling. I agree with Rochelle. The dragon has strong energy where the dog is calmer. It does seem like a balance. Yes. Yes. And if we can relate to the dragon energy, okay, the dragon energy is really within us. Well, so is the dog energy. And so maybe it's helping us to find the balance, right? The balance that we need to be able to go and move through these different dimensions consciously. And I have to tell you that it's not a mental activity. It's not. It's really more based on our emotions, our feelings, our senses. So when, for instance, when you go into a place, I used to use this example when I was teaching feng shui. Let's say that you're going to a restaurant, okay? A restaurant in a town that you've never really been before. And so you've never been to any of the restaurants before, but you're going to go out to eat, and you're with friends. And you're walking down a street that has many different kinds of restaurants. And you decide to stop in the first one. And you walk in, and as soon as you walk into the door, you stand there for a second, and you're looking around in the restaurant. And for whatever reason, you're saying, no, I don't want to eat here. No, let's not eat here. And for you, it just didn't feel right there. It just didn't feel good. And so now you're going to leave that place and walk down the street and select a different restaurant, right? And so then you select the next restaurant, and you walk in, you stand there and for a little bit, and you're looking around the inside, and you think, yeah, I kind of like this place. You see that? Look at that over there. And, oh, did you see this? And yeah, let's eat here. This place feels good. Okay. So you're feeling it. You're not necessarily mentally selecting it. Okay. Because you've never been there before. You didn't know anything about it. And so when you walk in, you're sensing. We all have that capability. Every one of us. It depends on how much we turn our attention to it and how much we listen to it. I'm going to put listen in air quotes because it's not necessarily auditory. But you get the drift, right? And so this is very, very similar. This is very similar, that we're sensing in a much bigger energy field. We're sensing the third dimension and what that feels like to us. Not what we think about it, but what it feels like. And when you know that you've been in the fourth dimension, in a place that could be in the fourth dimension, and where are those places? Sacred sites. A lot of places out in nature. Some classrooms, spiritual classrooms that you've been to, right? And you sense it. You think, oh, yeah, it's kind of nice here, or however you feel there. Some people feel uncomfortable there because the fourth dimension is a place of transition. It's a place that has some chaos to it. Yeah. And what is the fifth dimension? Fifth dimension is the Christ consciousness. It's about compassion, empathy, right? Unconditional love. And I know some people are probably saying, well, I don't know what that feels like. I don't know what that would be. Then you get to use your imagination. What would, if you didn't know what it would be like, what could it be like in your imagination? Okay. Rochelle's saying, I need more energy. Well, call on Dragon. Call on Dragon and see and ask him to send you more energy. Julie is saying, I need Dragon energy today. I had a bit of a migraine and low energy. You aren't the only one, lady. I did that earlier today. Um, actually, for the last 2 days. And maybe this is a good time to share this. And for me, I really was thinking maybe it had more to do with, Patty Heredia is a healer, and she writes for us, Star Nations magazine, and I'm hoping she's going to have her show starting soon. She said she's interested, but she has a lot to do with nutrition and energy work and that sort of thing. And she's had in the magazine since January. Since January, she's been writing about what is weight gain anyway, is I think the name of her series. And basically, she's been leading us up to the liver. And in this coming up magazine, March magazine, she actually has some steps in there to start the preliminary liver cleanse. And it's very gentle. It's very gentle. And so I started that, I want to say it was like the second. I don't think it was the first, second or third. And so I was attributing my lower energy level to the liver cleanse, the preliminary, okay, because it's getting rid of toxins. And so that I was contributing much of my fatigue to that. And also I'm right in the middle of an intense time for the magazine. Each month we go through that. And it does take an extra oomph of energy to get through it every month. And so I thought it was a combination of those two things. Yeah. And then I heard from Carl Franklin today. And I could hear the urgency in his voice when he was talking to me. He says, could you please do me a favor and read a piece of information? And he says, it's very important information, and I'd like to have your take on it, and I said, sure, I can do that for you. Where is it? What do I need? How do I get it? Right. So it turns out that I could get it in writing, but there's also a video, a YouTube on it. So I was watching the YouTube, and it's all about the great event and how we're receiving more energy right now from the central sun, not our own sun specifically, but from the central sun. So it goes from the central sun down through the different galaxies, through our own sun, and then to us. Okay. And so that we're receiving more, we're receiving information, more energy. And it literally is changing some of our DNA structure. I know this. I'll give you guys the link, okay? So you can watch it for yourselves. And so when that happens, the sun is actually doing some coronal solar flares. And I do know that does affect our physical body and our mental body. All right. So there's changes that are happening right now, and it's going to culminate on the equinox. So they're building this up to the event that culminates on the equinox. The event started way back in November. Okay. It's not necessarily a timed event so much as, from this date to that date, but it's more like an energy space, an energetic space, not necessarily even time. So there's a lot of that answered some of the questions I had about the way I was feeling. Like I said, I thought I was good because I was going through the liver cleanse. Now I'm sure that there's some of it, and I'm always tired to begin with because of all the work that I do at home as well. So that is another level of kind of fatigue. And as I was reading through, and Rochelle was, you with your surgery stuff that you had, and you're coming out of that, and still feeling that low energy kind of thing. Julie's feeling the same way, needing a bit more energy and having that migraine yesterday. I don't know if you guys noticed that yesterday when I said, probably Joe would say that was right in the throat chakra, right? Yeah, it was drainage, and I swear it's because of the liver cleanse, but I also had a headache right after that. And I don't get headaches, not very often. And so I think that there's some physical symptoms that are happening. So when we talk about those kinds of things, we have help in our spiritual teams. In spirit, we have help. We can call on Dragon to help us to balance out our energy, our fire. If we need a little bit more, ask for it. That's what I did earlier today, because I thought, oh my God, I got to do a live stream too. and so asking for a bit of energy so that you can feel more balanced with it, right? More comfortable. And we can also be working with Dog. That if we are moving, our physical body is moving in vibration from one dimension to another, consciously doing this, that we can ask the spirit of Dog, we can ask the spirit of Ku to help us navigate through this. We also have other team members on our spiritual team that can do the same thing, but we're using the information or the communication tool called oracle cards, right? So that spirit can get us the information. Christine said, I be dragon. Does that mean you need a little energy too, Christine? Because I tell you what, I was dragon earlier today, that's for sure. I thought maybe would be able to go back to bed after Mom was taken care of and George was taken care of. I thought I could do a morning nap, right? Even if it was 20 minutes, I could do that. That didn't work. When I had the chance to do it, I got a telephone call that I had to take. And so, that didn't happen. So I was dragon too. So, yes. I called on Dragon this morning to help me, send me a bit more energy so I feel more comfortable. I can get through this piece of work that I need to get done because others are waiting on me. Yeah, and we can call on Dog to be able to help us through the maze. If you're feeling like you're kind of lost about it, it's like, I don't know, what am I supposed to be doing with this? Which direction am I supposed to be going in? You can call on Dog. So I need some guidance through this. What's the best pathway to take here? I want to see the obstacles. Help me around that obstacle, whatever that is. And here's the piece that it felt to me, because this is taking this conversation that we've been having with with this deck. It's a different conversation we're having today. This conversation isn't about our healing work. We're still going to be doing that, but this conversation isn't about that anymore. This particular conversation is about how we move as a spiritual being in a physical body from one frequency to another, from one vibration to another, from one dimension to another. And that is what we're grounding to the earth plane today. As a team, taking in the information, and for the highest good and the highest good of all, right? It goes past our ego, past our mental mind, right to our heart. And let's take that another step, is to the balance of that between our mind and our heart, which is the high heart, right? I think, what does Carol call it? The heart mind? I think that's what he calls it. So we're doing it in a balanced way. And as energy workers, as light workers, it's a different way of working as well, because we're used to working on an individual, right? When somebody comes to us and they would like to have some help of some kind of healing of one or another, or maybe they're it's more like life coaching kind of stuff. It's very similar to that. But what we're doing is we're helping to anchor the vibration, the knowledge, the tools to the earth plane. And you thought you were just going to talk about cards today. Didn't know you were going to have to work today, huh? Julie's saying, that's how I've been feeling, like my physical being is changing vibration with some odd physical feelings. I've not been susceptible to migraines, so it's unusual for me. Mm-hmm. Yep. And so, it's calling on your spiritual team. Specifically, if you want to call on Dragon and Dog today, is to help you to regulate your fire. Do you need more fire, or do you need less fire to feel comfortable? To be optimal is probably a better way to put it. They're saying optimal. And then asking Dog to help you through the obstacles, whatever those are. Because sometimes we don't need to know by name what the obstacle is. We just need to get around it. If it's part of your soul growth, then you'll know. They'll tell you what is the obstacle when you ask. They'll say, show it to me, tell me. And if you're the clairsentient and you just know, is like, then you'll have a clear knowing that that's what the obstacle is. And then you can ask for help to be able to get around it. What's the best path to go around it? The path that's the most peaceful, right? The more joyful, the more, I'm trying not to say the word drama. Less drama, the less dramatic way. And perhaps then we become physical role models. Right? Because we don't have to teach it necessarily. We can just model it. This is the way I live my life. This is how I get help. Call on assistance. So I'm hoping that the information that was shared here today, that Dragon will feel like we have gotten the message as deep as we possibly can. As we say, taking it to heart, our inner fire. So we have optimal energy to move through each of the dimensions that we're meant to move through. And that dog is here to help us, to guide us through the other world. As spirit beings. Michelle, you're welcome, Michelle. I love the show. Lots of valuable information. Well, it's certainly coming through today, that's for sure. Because when I sat with the cards this morning after refreshing my memory about both of them, and when I saw that word other world, I thought, okay, these were written like in 1996 or probably before that. It was published in 1996. And so that was a completely different energetic field. And so what would it feel like in the present vibrational field? And that's when my team was showing me about moving from one dimension to another. It's not about our physical death. It's about our movement consciously in our physical body, moving from one dimension to another, being in one dimension to another. And so that I felt like this is what we can ground to the earth plane in our own ways, through our own bodies, in the vibrational fields that we are individually carrying. Yeah. I don't know. So we were working as a team today, grounding this energy, this information to the earth plane. So, and we work about it because we talked about it. We're sharing about it. And as you were grounding to Grandmother Earth, so all of your experience is in the present moment and grounded to her. And she's helping us to carry it because she's already there. She's already there. Which is probably, I know we're at the top of the hour, which is probably another good question is if you notice any changes or differences in how you feel when Grandmother Earth is with you. Because she's with us all the time, right? But when we consciously turn to her, what does it feel like? Because the difference could be very subtle or it could be very noticeable, right? Because you are in a different vibrational field than what you were this morning or yesterday, I should say. Think about it, feel about it. Okay. Let me know if you want to PM me a message or just leave a message here in the chat after the show. That's okay too. Just make sure I'm tagged. Otherwise I don't necessarily see it. Okay. And yeah, and I'm hoping that this resonated with you. Because if it did, we certainly are embracing it today, right? And we were certainly directly involved with it. We were participating in it. Yeah. And if it didn't resonate with you, that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. Talk to your team about it. Ask them, why was I supposed to hear that? What is that I was supposed to be hearing or witnessing? And they'll let you know. And if you're watching the recorded, thank you, number one. But, same thing, if it resonated with you, great. Or if it didn't, maybe you just share it with somebody that would be interested in the information. All right, good. All right. Well, we're at the top of the hour. Tomorrow is Friday, and I have a lot going on here tomorrow. So I don't think I'm going to be doing a live stream tomorrow. All right. In the morning, Mom has some appointments. And it usually only takes an hour, but Mom's got some stuff going on, so it could take a little bit longer. And also I have Marley's coming to do bookkeeping, and I promised that I would work with her on some things. And I know that's going to take a lot longer than just a couple of hours. So I will see you on Saturday. Okay. Now, remember, if you have anything that you want to share with me about your experience today with the cards, please do so. Send me a messenger message, or here in the chat would be good. Just make sure you tag me if you do it in the chat. Okay. All right. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll see you on Saturday at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily card draw. All right. All right. So, Bama Mina, until we see each other again. Love you guys.